how's it going? Well, we got an exciting delivery this morning from Schwope Brothers Farms. Look at these huge trees. Does it feel like Christmas, Aaron?
Yes.
It's like Aaron's favorite day. So Schwope Brothers Farms is a wholesale tree growing operation that I think they've got several locations, right, Aaron?
Yeah,
Around the country.
I guess they have one in Oregon.
Cornelius, Oregon is where these came out of.
But they also have them in, I guess I'm gonna forget some, but there's like Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, and maybe even like a couple more. I'm not 100% sure, but they're kind of all over.
Right. So they reached out a while ago and let us go through their availability and look at their tree selection, what they offer, and had us pick some things out. And the gal, her name is Beth, who organized the whole thing. She actually flew out from Kansas and she wanted to be here when the truck was here. And it was just fun to get to meet her. And her cousin was here with her and he was super helpful. So thank you to both of them who came out to see this load being dropped off. But I'm just so excited. Untying trees is one of the most fun things because you don't really know exactly what it's going to look like until you get it all fluffed out. And this right here is a zelkova, right? Is this the zelkova?
You know, I'm not sure.
Or is this the elm?
I think this
Oh, this is zelkova, the village green zelkova. And you guys, today I just really want to tour you through all these trees. We may plant one or two of them today, but the interesting thing about how they grow these is the container. They're called plant-right containers, and they're kind of like this tarp sort of material with super sturdy handles because the way we got them out of the truck was by using the forks on the tractor.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting way of growing them as opposed to the B&B method. Like balled and burlapped.
Or plastic containers.
Yeah, so I guess the idea is that with these, there's airflow, and so the roots stop when they hit the edge of the container instead of circling around, like oftentimes when things are grown in plastic containers. And we've seen that the roots circle around. They were saying that these containers are not great for everything. Certain trees that have tap roots, or like, I guess maybe aggressive tap roots.
Sure.
But for a lot of trees, especially ones that want to circle around, and I've heard this for years actually, that, you know, because there's people that sell fabric pots, you know, those have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Plant Right or whatever, they have, you know, really good luck growing a lot of stuff in these so that they stay air pruned, because when the roots reach the air, they quit. So anyway.
So no circling roots.
Yeah.
So they have a video. We watched a video on their website. Was it on their website or their social media? I can't remember, but it shows like how you just cut the pots off and.
Yeah, so it looks like what you do with these is you put it next to your hole, and then you just take a knife and just slice it, you know, on both sides, rip the thing off, and then kind of just push it into the hole.
Which is going to be so nice because you guys know that when we usually get trees this size, they're B&B and they're in great big metal cages that we have to cut off. And the root balls we're always risking breaking the root balls.
Yeah.
And so they're more like intact.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting because these do kind of look like they're a little bit more fibrous in terms of the roots. So it'll be interesting. We'll just see when we actually plant a couple to find out if the root ball stays intact when we take the container off. Because yeah, a lot of times the B&Bs, they do fall apart. So you have to be kind of careful with those.
You do, and we've lost trees because of root balls falling apart.
Yeah.
Before. So you guys can see that most of what we got, let's see, I'm trying to count up the evergreens. There's 2, 4, 5 evergreens, so 13 deciduous, 5 evergreens, and you guys, there is 1 weeping willow in the bunch right here. I have no idea where we're going to put it. But you guys know we have 2 weeping willows on our property that I absolutely love. And I didn't think I would ever plant another one because they're super fast growing. They tend to be a little bit messy. You know, when it gets windy, they lose little branches and you do have to treat them in our area at least so borers stay out of them. But they are the most majestic, most glorious trees ever. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity.
I got the feeling that they're pretty proud of their Plant Right containers.
Yeah.
And this is not like sponsored in terms of like they're not paying us or anything.
No.
I think the idea was they wanted to get them in our hands so that we could try them and, you know, give them feedback, give our audience feedback on our experience with them, good or bad.
Right.
You know, which is, you know, sign me up.
Right. I know.
When she emailed, it was like, oh,
trees, you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, and it's possible too that you're going to start seeing these kinds of containers show up
Oh
when
yeah,
you're.
she mentioned that proven winners.
Yeah. In fact, there's 3 crab apples in here that are Proven Winners brand right here. Proven Winners line. It's the Sugar Time crab apple. So I think there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, she did mention that Proven Winners is going to, a lot of their shrubs and trees will be in this type of container. So when you start to see this type of container, hopefully, like if you've seen us use them and kind of learn from our experience, I don't know, it's kind of nice. It kind of gives you confidence.
Sure.
Hopefully. Anyway, so our first step is to get all of these untied. So we're going to work on that first, and then I'm going to walk you through and give you stats on all of these trees, and then we'll pick out at least one of them to get in the ground today, maybe 2. Goodness, you guys, look at these. Oh, it's so fun to get deciduous trees too that arrive looking so beautiful in season. It can be hard to transport, I'm guessing, trees that are full of leaves like this. So they look really good, and they fluffed out beautifully too. We did notice that this one right here is a B&B inside this container. Like, I noticed there was some rope around the base of this trunk, so you always want to be careful and watchful for that. We cut that off, and then I noticed this one was in a wire basket at one point in time because it's still in the wire basket. So we're going to have to, I don't think any of the rest of them are like that, but we're going to have to make sure to take the cage off of this one. Okay, I think the rest of them are just planted in these pots. When we tipped this one, had a little bit of loose soil on the top, and they all look really good. Look at this, my goodness. Do you have a favorite, Aaron?
Well, you know, I guess to be honest, I haven't really looked that closely at them, but I do. Okay, so like this year, I've realized the importance of dark color foliage. When you look at a whole line of trees or whatever, shrubbery, you really have to have dark foliage.
What else do you need to have, Aaron?
Yellow, as much as I hate to say it.
And up to this point, you've always said that anything that's yellow looks like it's iron deficient or like it's on its way out or something or getting too much water. But having something that's supposed to be yellow, it kind of helps brighten things up.
Well, so none of these are yellow.
Well, the weeping willow is.
Oh, I suppose.
It's got golden branches.
Yeah.
That counts as a yellow.
Yeah. So we'll have to find some more yellow trees to intersperse.
Yeah, or we don't have to be yellow trees. It could be yellowish shrubs that get like a yellow smoke bush.
I suppose.
Kind of a thing. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna just go one by one, you guys, and take a look at these, and I'll go over some stats. So let's start with the Sugar Time crabapple. So like I said, there are 3 in this bunch. There's this one here, and then there's one here and one on the end. We'll take a look at those as we get closer. But these are a very small growing tree, and these are the ones that are in the Proven Winners line, and they grow about 10 by 10. You will see some resources list them a little bit bigger, like 18 feet by 15 feet. And I would say that here in our area, they probably grow between 10 and 15 feet tall and wide. But I love the color of the bark. It's kind of like a golden bronze, and it kind of brightens up as the tree ages a bit. They are full of white bloom in the spring, followed by these half-inch, roughly sized crab apples that turn bright red, and they're persistent. And persistent means that those crab apples will remain on the tree until next year's growth pushes them off. Most persistent crab apples do not make it to that point of the year, the following year, because birds usually clean them up, so you don't have any crab apple mess on the ground. And you get winter beauty and feed for birds, which is great. And they are zone 4 through 8. Right here we have the cedar of Lebanon, which this is so pretty, and I hope it likes us here. Hope it likes our soil. Taking a look from this side so you can see the color a little bit better. These are a fairly slow grower. I want to say that they top out at like 10 inches of growth a year, at least for the first like couple of decades of their life. A lot of people say that the first 20 years or so, they grow fairly slowly and then they can kind of pick up and take off unless they really, really like their spot. And they typically will top out at about 40 to 60 feet tall, which is really tall. But I guess the tallest recorded cedar of Lebanon is 120 feet with a trunk diameter of 10 feet. Probably never get to that size here, but I find that incredible. And I like the look of the needles. They're soft. It's just a very delicate look to me. And the branches will kind of spread out a little bit more as the tree ages. And then our pine that we've got here is a ponderosa. This is going to be another experiment, just like the cedar of Lebanon. Look at how long these needles are. This one will grow faster than this one, like 15 to 18 or so inches per year. And in the wild, these can grow over 100 feet tall. Again, not something we're expecting here, but Aaron has always had an affinity for ponderosa pines. So I think it'll be really fun, and I'm hopeful that this one likes its location and it takes root. These can create quite an extensive root system and a pretty deep tap root. And hopefully this one just takes off and grows, because I can imagine Aaron wanting to limb this one up to sort of see underneath it. But where we like to go, like for day trips or for long weekends in McCall, Idaho, they have a lot of ponderosas. In fact, they have a Ponderosa State Park up there, and it's kind of a childhood thing, I think. I'm excited to have one. Then the Babylon Weeping Willow. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is a zone 4 through 9, grows 50 by 50. They get quite large, so we do need to make sure that we find a really good spot for this one, somewhere where it can spread out, because weeping willows just look the best when you can just sort of almost let them do their thing. Like the ones we have, we've got one over part of our lawn where we have to keep it kind of raised up a little bit. And then the other one, you guys know we've got the Hebe statue, which we've moved out from underneath the tree because the tree's gotten so big. And it comes out over the lane, over our driveway on the other side. So we have to keep it limbed up on that side. But boy, if you can let them kind of take on their natural shape, they are just so gorgeous. Coming around this way, you can see this beautiful multi-trunk. This is an ivory silk lilac tree. We've got 5 trunks here. These produce big clusters of white blooms in the spring. And then the fall color is kind of an orange to bronze. Grows about 20 feet tall by 15 feet wide. I'm very excited to see how this one does. I've seen these growing around in our area, so I know it will thrive. They're typically very tolerant of our high pH, hardy to zone 4, and I like the bold texture of the leaves. And then this one right here is a Triumph elm. Look at that thing. It grows 55 feet tall, 45 feet wide. It's resistant to a lot of the things that have bothered elm trees throughout the years, like Dutch elm disease, things like that. Now, when we moved into this house, there were 3 elm trees, different variety. They were like really old. They probably didn't even have a variety name. We call the elms that are like natively here, we call them trash trees, because they're the type that spring up everywhere, and they like just will fall over without even a windstorm. At some point in their life, they just start losing big limbs or big trunks, and they're just kind of not safe to have around. And these are a lot stronger. They've been bred to be better trees. And Aaron has really wanted to put another elm tree somewhere on our property. So this is going to be our trial. I don't know if you can see from here, but like where the sun shines on the leaves, you can see they've got a little bit of a gloss, a little bit of luster. And they are hardy down to zone 4. Then we've got 3 Spartan junipers. 1, 2, 3. Those will be easy to place around. These don't get super huge, like 15 by 5. I want to say that's like their 10-year size though, because they will get bigger than that. It's just that they won't get, you know, like 40 feet wide or 30 feet wide even. But they are native. Junipers are one of the very few things that are native to our area. So they do really well for us. And a lot of times you'll see topiaries made out of Spartan junipers. They take to trimming really well. So you can either keep them like very slim and very tidy, so you can use them in a more formal setting, or you can let them get a little bit more fluffy, a little bit more rounded. But I just think they're gorgeous, and they are a zone 4 through 9. And I love how big they are to start off. And then we've got the Emerald Queen Maple, which is a Norway maple cultivar. Beautiful, reliable, vibrant yellow foliage in the fall, which I love. They do get the little seeds, little helicopters here, which I don't tend to mind. We don't have a tremendous amount of trees that get those. I think we've got maybe 5 or so maples that get them. And I want to say that the tree that we've got by our back shade porch, I think it's one of these. I can't be certain because I was not the one who planted it, but boy, I would put money on it. And it is one of the more widely used Norway maple cultivars out there. Look at the size of these leaves. They are awesome. Right here is another one of the Sugar Time crab apples. Right in front of it is the Royal Red Maple. So let me show you from the other side so you can see the color a bit better. So this one has the deeper colored leaves, more maroon in appearance. Super pretty. It gets big, like 40 feet tall by 30 feet wide. It's a zone 4. Big, beautiful leaves. Look at that. My goodness. And apparently this one at zone 4 has a better cold hardiness than some of the other red-leafed maples. And then right here is the Village Green Zelkova, the first tree that Aaron untied. Look at that thing. My goodness. Look at how tall it is. Whew. This one grows 40 by 40. Zelkovas really have a neat branching structure. I need to fluff this one out a little bit more, but they really take on an interesting architectural shape. Party down to zone 5, and the leaves, they kind of have like a ribbed look to them. A little bit. Serrated leaves on the edges, and they turn kind of a rusty red color in the fall. And a couple more maples. So we've got a Brandywine right here, and then an Armstrong. The Brandywine is a cross between an October Glory, which we have right behind our chicken coop, and an Autumn Flame. Bright red fall color, and it gets fall color, like it starts to color up almost 2 weeks earlier than most other maples. That's always fun if you can figure out different varieties and figure out how they perform in your area and stagger that fall season. Or I mean, it's like that with anything, when you can figure out bloom seasons in bulbs or any kind of perennial so that you have constant color and constant interest at all different times of the year. But this one gets 40 feet tall and I think 30 feet wide. It is a beauty. And the Armstrong is a columnar maple. So it grows 45 feet tall, but it stays pretty narrow at 15 feet. Zone 4 through 8. And it's fairly fast growing. I would say it's probably faster than all the other maples we've got here in this group. And the fall color is kind of a yellow to an orangey red. You kind of get a multicolor show with this one. And the last one in the group is another one of the Sugar Time crabs. So that is the group of trees. Aren't they impressive? Oh, I'm so excited about these, and I really want to take my time and figure out really good spots for all of these because most of them get quite large, and I want to make sure they can grow to their full potential. The kids are throwing crab apples at each other. No, no, no. You put that back down. That was yeah, didn't think through that one. A few of the trees were tied up in like not just twine, but like this white netting stuff that made some of the crab apples pop off the tree when we were undoing the wrapping. So the kids are now benefiting from that. You better run. She's gonna come after you.
He's taking leaves now.
Really? Okay, so you guys, we are gonna regroup at this point. We're gonna figure out which tree or trees we would like to get in the ground, and that's what we're gonna start in with next. Where's this one going?
Behind the barn.
Behind the barn? Okay. So we're going with the Royal Red Maple first because it is an Acer rubrum, which are toxic to horses. So in the event that we do end up getting horses over in the paddock dirtlands area, we don't want to have any more of that kind of thing over in that space. So we're going to make sure that all of that kind of stuff is back here in the north garden. So this area here, and we were thinking having a nice big shade tree right in this kind of corner area would be really nice. We're right behind the white barn. And this is the one 40 by 30, right? Boy, I just have plant stats just like swirling through my brain right now.
Is that good?
I think so. Can you do that? This is the only bag we damaged when we were taking the plants out. So it's kind of nice to get that one planted first anyway. Won't that look so nice right there? It'll provide some much needed shade in this area. Then I think we're gonna go grab one more tree to plant out here right on the top of the hillside. Which one do you want to do next?
Pick one.
Oh my goodness. Zelkova or elm?
Either one.
This gets 40 by 40.
Okay.
All right, guys, so the Village Green Zelkova, 40 by 40 is what this one grows. In this space, the reason why I think this one would be pretty back here is because of the fall color show. We do have a Thundercloud Plum, which those get kind of like a orangey purple. And then we have a Purple Robe Locust, which will be yellow. We've got a crabapple. I think that'll be kind of an orangey gold. And this one gets rusty red. So we'll have a beautiful combination of fall color. And I'm thinking if we pop it somewhere right over in here to give everything ample space, we could also fit a smallish sort of evergreen in between. I think that would be nice. So let's see, probably right in here. Oh yeah, I think that will look really nice. And this tree will eventually go away. See, this is one of the older elms that we have around here, and this is kind of how they start to look. We call them snags or trash trees. And in fact, we were out here the other night and Aaron heard a crack and a crash and a big branch fell down just out of the tree, just because. And I'm pretty sure, is this one broken? Yeah, well, see this one that's kind of shooting down? Looks like it's kind of twisted, maybe partially broken, I don't know. We don't let the kids play out around this tree because it's too dangerous. I think the next step is the auger, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to swap it out too.
Oh, do you need my help for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow you. So we'll get 2 in the ground today.
Okay, so this is the moment of truth to find out how fibrous the root ball is.
You can kind of see a little bit where
This
the
is the
bag
one that broke?
Yeah. So I'm glad that we're getting it planted, but look at this.
So I watched the video and he basically just sliced it on one side and then he sliced it on the other side like that.
Look at that.
Peel it away.
Not root bound at all.
No.
Isn't that nice? Look at all that available soil.
That looks pretty good. It's not falling apart at all.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
Let me get my kneeling pad out of the way. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom here. Definitely more root action down here. Coming out the bottom hole here. Do you want to rock it the other way, or do you want to just wheel it while I hold onto the bag? Oh,
honestly, not bad.
not bad at all.
That's way better than a B&B.
Like, and it took like well, when you have the great big auger, that helps too. But my goodness, that was easy.
Yeah, I would vote that method over the B&B because like the amount of time it takes to get all the strings off and get the wire cage off. And every time we have a B&B, it always feels like it wants to fall apart.
Yeah, it
like,
does.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's fine,
Yeah.
but there's that worry.
Right. Looks like this branch. There we go.
We did pretty good on the native level, it looks like.
Yeah, we did. So it needs just to be straightened up, but that canopy is beautiful. I can't wait for this one to grow.
Brandywine.
It's a little better.
Does it need to go up just a hair?
I
Are we good?
mean, I think we're probably good. Boy, it kind of makes you want to plant more than just 2, huh?
Maybe. Okay,
Maybe.
it needs to go.
Okay,
This way.
I'm gonna start helping now. First one is planted, watered in, drip has been run to it, and it looks so pretty in this location. I just love it. And I love looking across the lawn and seeing the zelkova over there, kind of in between the blue spruce and the crabapple. We do intend on putting a couple more trees in the lawn as well, but we'll get red fall color here. We'll have the yellow from the honey locust trees, so it'll just be a menagerie of beautiful interest, I think. Aaron is already on his way over there. A tree out of one of those pots so far, kind of a dream. We're not going to hit a water line, are we? That's what you said last time.
Well, but I hit the water line last time, so now I know where it is.
Okay, you positive?
Pretty positive.
Okay, pretty positive. I'll go with that. Aaron's trying ever so carefully to drive the excess soil over to the hillside to get rid of it, instead of messing up a bunch of mulch in this area. Oh. Nice. Give you the old heave-ho. And there's the zelkova planted, watered in, drip has been run, looking beautiful. Doesn't that look so pretty right there?
Yes, now we just need like 10 more trees.
Well, we've got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the pot?
I kind of like it.
It's nice, isn't it?
I mean, it looks weird because it's like, you know, of course they'll say nice things about the plant right pot. They just gave you 18 trees.
Right.
But I would choose it over a B&B like anytime.
Hands down.
If I ever had an option between that and a B&B, I would never choose the B&B.
I don't know what it is about B&Bs, but it feels like they are planted in solid clay, or like the heaviest soil material you can get to. Like moving them around, moving these around is easy.
You don't see the same kind of root system.
Mm-hmm.
So on these, it's kind of, I mean, they're like, it's all together for the most part. At least the two that we did. Now, I mean, we only have experience with 2 trees.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. But with the 2 that we did, they're solid. You take the bag off and it just is a solid root ball, and you can roll it into the hole, or you don't even need the pinchers.
No.
Like it makes the pinchers not necessary. The whole reason that we bought the pinchers is because we were getting so many B&B trees.
And they're so incredibly heavy and hard to maneuver. But we've got 16 more of these. So we will show you that when we plant all of those. We'll probably just do a little bit at a time throughout the next few.
You showed the one that had the B&B, right?
Yeah, I did. But we'll be able to show you guys how all the rest of them go over the next several weeks as we get them in the ground. And then we can maybe in the end give you our actual opinion, I guess, after a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
Because, you know, today's project was easy.
I wonder why more people don't use like either fabric pots or, you know, these type of more like tarp material. I wonder if it's more expensive, or
they dry out faster.
Yeah, maybe they dry out. Maybe only certain climates can take it, or
possibly. I don't know.
I don't know how that
I don't know
works.
pros and cons for sure. But anyway, trees look awesome, and they're beautiful trees.
Really, as a consumer, you're just going to get whatever your local people have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the only people that actually are going to be making those decisions are, I suppose, garden centers. Like if your parents were like, no, we prefer to bring in stuff that's in plant right pots, which, you know, garden centers, just on the other side, they may not prefer something like this because do you think it might dry out quicker?
It could.
In which case, if you've got something sitting in a garden center, you know, you don't want it to dry out and scorch and start to burn before a customer comes and buys it, just in case it sits there for 3 months.
Right. There's also a possibility at a garden center that you might be needing to winter over some trees, you know, some carryover stuff that didn't sell. And I don't know how that would be, carrying over something in a plant right pot versus a plastic pot. I don't know. Well,
it's definitely interesting. And I'm thrilled that somebody's giving us a chance to try it out and, you know, just see what we think of it.
For sure.
Either way, it's a win for us.
And this is our second zelkova. I do have another variety that I can't remember the name of. It's a type that stays much more narrow and it gets bright orange in the fall. This one gets rusty red. So anyway, I think it'll be fun to kind of compare the two. But you guys, that is going to do it for today's video.
More tree planting to come.
Yeah, probably be tree planting tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So anyway, thank you, Schwope Brothers Farms.
Yeah,
Plural.
I think so.
Yeah, for sending out the trees. That was very, very nice of you to give us the opportunity to try out your stuff in your pots. That's awesome. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.